Good day, everybody. Today is the 6th of January. Let me just see what we got going on here over on Yahoo. Lots of things are down. The Russell's up, crude is up, gold is down. Some mixed view on different currencies. Our good old digital assets down, and all the foreign stuff is down. So what I've done is before, as we move into interactive brokers, these are the assets that I can use from Oanda data. These are the ones that look good. So how many do we have? I think it's 15. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So let's look at those individually. And these are all determined by harmonic scans, you can see here. So these are the ones that were handpicked as with the best long potentials for based upon the score here of excellent or very good. So let's look at the first one here. We have, and remember, some of these are forex as well. So I'm not saying forex is bad. Just the Western, the big ones are kind of not a lot of opportunity there, but there are some of the more exotic ones that look pretty interesting. So anyways, let's look at gold. From what I saw, this may be it's been very flat with gold generally, but what I look for is what I just prior chart just shows you the 4 hour. This is the daily, but what I'm looking at right here is on a 2 week, 2 week and a 1 month basis. You can see here it's been very flat. I wouldn't necessarily pick this as my number one, but some other interesting ones that are happening is Japanese yen seems to be piling in. The first one we can look at is the Australian Japanese yen. So here you can see it's been moving up pretty good with that little like trend there. Again, on the weekly it's continuing. It's just recently gone flat, and then on the monthly, a little bit of a rally there with some volatile moves. Let's look at the euro and Japanese yen. So holding the Japanese yen is obviously a defensive safe haven overview. So if we look at euro, Japanese yen, I don't see this much in the Swiss franc. So you can see here on a 4 hour view, got a nice trend. Daily, same thing. Weekly, not bad. And then you get into the monthly, kind of flat. Again, this is not a priority, but I definitely consider that. Now, let's check out the British pound. Okay, so the pound against the yen. Same thing. Trend on a 4 hour basis is there. Daily's there. Monthly, kind of flat. But this may start to move up as if the markets don't look good in terms of not generating as much of a streak. Yeah, maybe because all of these charts that I show are all hot capital flow. So I always base it on. So the next one we can look at that's been not performing all that well is the UK 100. And same idea. You got a pretty good trend here since October on that daily view. I think that's daily, or is that that's probably a 4 hour view, I believe. Yeah. So anyways, let's look at the daily. A decent little trend there. It's maintaining a trend up versus the US. The weekly, same thing. Monthly, not as strong but it's still uptrend, and it's not flat, nor is it declining compared to other markets. So another one to watch for as an early indicator is for turning around is copper. So XCU, which is copper, as I said, fairly choppy, but on the daily, same thing. Weekly, there is a trend that it went flat. Now we missed out here, but we could still consider if the news gets better with obviously the global sickness BS. So that might start to continue if the news gets better. Now, as I said with the Japanese yen, let's see that. The Japanese yen, let's see here. So with the Japanese yen 225, sorry, the Japanese Nikkei, I guess. Now, you can probably try to trade the microcaps in the US, which it may happen. I'll talk about my strategy for interactive brokers once we get everything funded properly. Hopefully that'll take place by early next week. So you can see here it's fairly flat. Let's look at the daily. Nothing much going on. Big little bar move. That's obviously the overnight as it starts to open up at my time here at 5 p.m. my time. Weekly view, bit of a rally, holding steady, and the monthly flat will last a little bit. Now, let me just continue. I'm going to continue on with some commodities here. The big one that looks pretty good is oil. Both WTI and Brent Crude. You can see there's a slight uptrend here on the daily. Same thing. Weekly, really good trend there. Monthly, starting to turn around a little bit. I can't guarantee that, obviously, but I do like the look of that. So then we have Brent Crude. Okay, so Brent Crude's probably going to follow the same pattern. Daily trend up, right there. Weekly, same. Monthly, similar to WTI. All right, so let's go back to corn. Corn's been popping lately. And I've talked about this in terms of inflation. I do believe this is one of those reasons why the Federal Reserve is hiking and get more aggressive because of this. All this is going up. This is inflation continuing to go along. These are, yes, CFDs, but they still imply what's going on in the futures market. And of course, being, as they get closer to the ETF selection, this is a cheaper way to get that performance. So here we got the daily, very flat. Weekly, really popping there. So I'm hoping that this continues later on, but it could. That's a monthly view there. So that's one of the reasons why I think, as I said, the Federal Reserve is starting to move, because if this starts to spike, that's going to hurt a lot of people, food cost, because that's at the wholesale as it gets harvested. And I could probably show maybe wheat as well. It's not a top performer according to my harmonic scans here, but it is trending up there on a monthly view. So that is moving up. Even though despite these last 2 months, these could start to continue. I don't know, but that's why it's not getting included. Another one to watch is obviously sugar. You have the same thing. That's a 2-week, weekly, flat, but it could continue to move up. So corn for sure. I think we looked at copper. So let's see what's going on with copper. Daily, flat, weekly. There was a trend, and then flat again. Okay, so no big deal there. Now let's look at the other currencies that I think are pretty exciting if you just look for general trend. The first one is USD in Hungary. So this one is because the Hungarian currency is getting weaker, but as you know, I like the longs. It's safer. You can see this nice steady trend up on a monthly basis, or slight trend up really recently on that weekly, daily, same thing, and it'll come back down, but generally there's a general trend there of upward momentum, so I do like the look of that. You're not going to get that consistently with this one, which is the USD Thai baht. Now here, it's very flat, choppy on a monthly basis, but what we're focusing is on this upswing here on the monthly. It is flat, but everything really depends upon the tourism of Thailand and based around the global sickness and the current status of it. But here, when you break it out, it's moving up. So if that continues, that's going to be a good thing for Thailand as an economy and its dollar, Thai baht, and that's a pretty good one. Now, one I also starting to see in Asia is Hong Kong dollar. When you look at the China, let me first show you the U.S. Hong Kong dollar. Okay, this is looking pretty good. Major upswing, but if you continue with these upswings, you can probably capture this upward momentum. That's on a monthly view. So long term, this could be a good one to hold, but you obviously got to watch the general trend. But look, that's a pretty good trend for forex. So this is the sort of thing you want to go after. Now, you might go, well, that's fine, but what about China? China's getting crushed. When you look at the USD China yuan, now one big news item with the yuan is they're really pretty well ready to go with the digital yuan. So that's coming. Now, how will that affect their currency? Probably affect worldwide as well, because it's a trend. Apparently, Mexico peso's ready to go as well. But you can see here, it's just getting crushed. That's on a daily. It's flat. I mean, that's the weekly. Here's the month. It's just gotten crushed. Its peak here goes back to May 2020. So this may turn around and reverse, but right now, the Hong Kong dollar is where you want to go. So that's can be kind of exciting. So that's the view here of what I've got. Now, that's the selection right now. Okay, so let's talk about interactive brokers and ETF. I'll be searching for ETFs to invest into. Okay, based around this. Okay, also I have a custom script that will allocate based upon portfolio and daily basis of the overall performance of these type of assets, and what it will do is it will split out what to short and what to long, and then it will give me the usual performance statistics, be it like Sharpe ratio and the other Sortino and all that, and then I can base upon my portfolio allocation around that, and I'm planning to do that on a daily basis. But that data is not coming from interactive brokers. As I said, it's going to be coming from Oanda and its CFDs and forex, because it's a pretty good snapshot of what's happening on the capital flow, because it's the capital flow that will continue as a forward-looking guidance. Now, also, I have to mention this as well. This is going to be posted on my social media, be it YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and all that as well. Probably turn it into also podcasting. I won't do this as much because now I'm going to be turning this into a newsletter subscription type of service with the exact numbers and the logic behind it. So I won't be talking about this as much. I might talk about one or two out of these, maybe each day, in my thinking on it. But right now, that's the plan, is to use these asset allocation between both through an ETF and or a currency. So you can see here, there is, out of 15, we got one, and here we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So half of its currency, and the other half is just either CFD or market index. So the only market index right now out of the batch would be this one, the UK 100, because everything else is kind of looking to go kind of defensive at this present time. So if you need to know, that is on, this was recorded January 6, 5:05 p.m. Okay, and this kind of makes sense as well from a global perspective. There's no bond showing anything yet as a top performer. So that's what I'm looking at, and I do like what I see with the ETF selection through IB as well. And they trade the same fees as if I was trading stocks, so that's another good thing as well. So we'll stop it there. If you like what you see, make sure you get on the newsletter because they plan to do this more, and then that can be picked up at quantlabs.net/contact. Okay, and again, unfortunately, I don't think I'll be able to talk more about the digital currencies, we'll call them, which is a safe way to talk about it on Google and online. So just, as I said, go to quantlabs.net/contact, as well as if you want to really make the real wealth through digital currency. Looks like we've got some potential there, being back on Asia's largest exchange. Obviously, I'm not going to talk which exchanges, but if you really want to know, what I would do is go to quantlabs.info to the chat server, because that's where I do most of the talking about those type of asset classes. Other than that, again, go to quantlabs.net/contact, or if you want to know more about the digital currency, go over to quantlabs.info, because I have to keep that private now. That's basically what I'm seeing from the stats that I'm seeing on the new domain of quant-labs.net. Those are stats I'm seeing from the Google Search Console for search engine optimization on what to talk about and what not to talk about. Thanks again for watching. Have a good day.